This is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, July 27th, 2026. Fire potential headlines for the week include overall warming and drying trend expected this week, especially across the north and west. Breezy winds are also expected here and there through midweek. Isolated daily afternoon storms are expected over the Utah mountains and up into eastern Idaho and western Wyoming through Wednesday. As far as the fuels go, fire danger is rapidly increasing across much of Idaho and western Nevada through the week. Fire potential impacts for the next couple of days include some smoke impacts over mainly western and central Idaho with the smoke from Oregon and then also the smoke from the ongoing fires in Idaho. We expect some gusty winds over the east central Idaho mountains both today and tomorrow. Some breezy winds along the Sierra Front today, and then continued breezy winds across the southern Great Basin today, tomorrow, and increasing a little bit on Wednesday. Then we'll also continue to see those isolated storms over mainly central and eastern Utah and up into eastern Idaho and western Wyoming for the next couple of days as well. Precipitation and lightning for the last 24 hours is shown here. A bit of a quieter day yesterday with just some storms over far eastern Idaho and western Wyoming and then parts of southern and southeast Utah as well. And these storms were kind of that mix of wet and dry. Yesterday was a pretty active day for new fire activity and ongoing growth on existing fires. We had 28 new fires for over 8,000 acres and just under 20,000 acres on our large fires. Most of those new fires did occur in northern and western Nevada. Smoke impacts for today and tomorrow are shown here. A lot of smoke out there. A lot of that smoke is coming from the fires in Oregon, but we also have a few fires in southwest Idaho and northern Nevada as well that are bringing smoke into the area. Fire danger conditions are increasing across the area as the air mass generally dries out, especially across the north and west. Here we're looking at PSA for northwest Nevada, where the values currently are below average for the time of year, but with the warming and drying that's expected to move in through the next week, those values are going to jump up to normal and even above normal by the end of the 7-day period. This morning's satellite imagery shows a high pressure in place across the central U.S. The Great Basin is kind of on that western edge. Still pretty hot today, but by the weekend, that high pressure ridge is going to be centering itself a little bit more over the Great Basin, and hotter temperatures are coming our way. All right, let's look at the next couple of days. Upper air and significant fire potential. For today, again, we have the high pressure ridge located to our east and keeping things warm and dry area wide, and we do have some of those breezy winds over the central Idaho mountains and western Nevada today. Just high risk for the central Idaho mountains today. Most of these winds are going to be below red flag warning criteria, but still dry and breezy. Looking at the winds and relative humidity a little bit more closely, again, we can see just some elevated gusts here and there across central Idaho, western Nevada, and the southern Great Basin. We'll see those winds pick up a bit across the southern Great Basin Tuesday, and into Wednesday, southwest Utah, we'll see gusts up to maybe 30 miles an hour or so. Minimum relative humidities are quite low across Nevada with those single digits expected there through the week. The values in southwest Idaho are also quite low, especially across the lowest elevations there. And the values stay a little bit elevated in Utah, where we have a little bit of moisture continuing to kick off some of those afternoon thunderstorms through midweek. Again, the precipitation expected for the next couple of days is shown here, so mainly still looking at isolated mountain thunderstorms over Utah and up into western Wyoming today, tomorrow, and into Wednesday. For the second half of the work week, the high pressure ridge starts to move a little bit further westward, centering itself over the Great Basin by the weekend. Friday into Saturday, that high pressure ridge is located right over the Great Basin. It's going to get pretty hot area wide. We don't have any high risk triggers as the winds lighten up during that time period, but we can see a lot of our zones moving into that yellow and brown category as things become pretty hot and dry area wide. Again, a closer look at the winds showing generally light winds area wide, but the minimum relative humidities really start to dry out further east. So we'll still see those single digit values across Nevada, but some of those lower values and low teens will really expand further west or east and north into Idaho and Utah by the weekend, with pretty much single digits to low teens everywhere across the Great Basin for the weekend. Precipitation drops off as well as we head into the weekend as a high pressure ridge builds over the Great Basin. We'll only see some very isolated storms continuing across the far eastern portions of the area. Take a look at the temperatures for today. Highs mainly in the low 90s for much of Idaho, a little bit warmer, mid to upper 90s in Nevada, and then a little bit warmer even in Utah. But by the time we head into the weekend, everyone is going to get hotter. Most areas are going to be above 100 degrees, with Salt Lake maybe 105, Reno 103, and Boise even up into 102. So hot temperatures are coming for this weekend. To summarize things here, we have a high risk for some winds across the central Idaho mountains today. Otherwise, the winds generally lighten up across the area for the next couple of days, and then especially light for the weekend. But the high ridge builds across the Great Basin, bringing very hot and dry conditions area-wide as we head into the weekend. The extended forecast for August 1st through the 5th keeps the high pressure ridge generally centered over the southern Great Basin, and below normal chances for precipitation are expected across much of the area as well. That concludes today's briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.